You think your neighbor's yappy chihuahua is a handful? Imagine if they had a pet that weighed over 150 pounds and needed its own swimming pool just to go to the bathroom. Forget cats and dogs. Today, we're diving into a world where people share their homes with some of the most unbelievable and, sometimes, downright dangerous animals on the planet. From actual tigers prowling in backyards to alligators chilling in the bathtub, these are the world's most unusual pets. And we're about to pull back the curtain on what it's really like to live with them. Stay tuned as we count down the most bizarre animal companions people actually own. You will not believe what's coming in at number 1. The social rodent superstar, the capybara. First up is an animal that has taken over the internet with its famously chill vibe. The capybara. This gentle giant from South America is the world's largest rodent. Think of a guinea pig, but make it the size of a dog, weighing in at up to 150 pounds or more. They're known for being incredibly friendly and sociable, often seen lounging with monkeys, birds, and even crocodiles. But here's the reality check. Owning a capybara isn't like letting a giant hamster run around your house. These are semi-aquatic animals, which means they absolutely need a body of water to be happy and healthy. And we're talking a pool or a pond that's at least 3.5 feet deep, because you might want to sit down for this, they prefer to do their business in the water. That's right, your backyard pool just became a giant rodent toilet. They also can't live alone. A single capybara is a stressed out, depressed capybara, so you need to own at least 2. That means double the space, double the food, which can be up to 8 pounds of grass and veggies a day, double the cost. You'll also need a large, securely fenced-in yard, and if you live anywhere cold, a heated indoor space is a must. They might look like the ultimate cuddle buddy, but the reality is a massive commitment of space, money, and a lot of pool cleaning. The desert elf, the Fennec Fox. Next, we have an animal that looks like it walked straight out of a fantasy movie. The Fennec Fox, native to the Sahara. These are the world's smallest foxes, famous for those enormous ears that help them keep cool. With their playful, dog-like energy and cat-like independence, it's easy to see why people want one. But don't let the cute face fool you. Fennec foxes are tiny tornadoes of chaotic energy. They are incredibly active, quick, and have a deep-seated instinct to dig. That's a great skill for escaping predators in the desert, but not so great for your couch, your carpet, or your potted plants. They're also nocturnal, which means just as you're winding down, they're just getting started. Your quiet evenings could be filled with the sounds of them running, jumping, and generally redecorating. And while they can be affectionate, they aren't typically cuddly. They're naturally skittish and can be easily startled by loud noises, which might cause them to bite out of fear. And they are very vocal, making all sorts of sounds from yips to outright screams. Owning one requires a secure, dig-proof enclosure, endless patience, and an acceptance that your home may never be quiet or tidy again. The living fossil with a smile, the axolotl. From the desert, we head to the water to meet the axolotl. It's also known as the Mexican walking fish, except it's not a fish at all. It's a type of salamander that spends its entire life underwater. Their claim to fame is an incredible superpower: regeneration. If an axolotl loses a limb, no problem. It'll just grow it back. They can even regenerate parts of their own brain and spinal cord, making them a true marvel of nature. That cute permanent smile and their feathery external gills have made them incredibly popular in the aquarium world. The reality of their care, however, is anything but simple. Axolotls need very specific and stable water conditions. The water has to stay cold, ideally between 60 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, which usually means you need to buy an expensive aquarium chiller. If the water gets too warm, it can cause them severe stress and even death. They're also messy eaters and produce a ton of waste, so frequent water changes are mandatory. You can't just drop some food in and walk away. They often need to be fed directly, and their skin is so delicate and permeable that they can absorb harmful chemicals right out of the water or even from the oils on your hands. That's why handling them is a big no-no. This smiling creature might look low maintenance, but it's a sensitive animal that needs a scientifically precise home to survive. The gentle giant of the trees, the sloth. Speaking of internet sensations, let's talk about the sloth. Their slow, deliberate movements and sleepy expressions have made them symbols of relaxation. A lot of people dream of cuddling one, but the truth is, sloths should never be kept as pets. First off, they are wild animals, not domesticated buddies. They don't want human interaction. In fact, being handled, petted, or bathed is incredibly stressful for them. That serene little smile you see on their face, it's just the shape of their facial muscles. It doesn't mean they're happy. Their main defense mechanism is to hold perfectly still, so it's almost impossible for the average person to know when a sloth is secretly terrified. Their care requirements are also staggering. They need huge, custom-built enclosures that mimic their native jungle habitat, with specific high temperatures and humidity levels. Their diet is highly specialized, consisting of certain leaves that are very difficult to find. Without the right nutrition, they can suffer from all kinds of health problems, with a lifespan of up to 30 years in captivity. Owning a sloth is a massive, lifelong commitment that most people are simply not prepared for. The crossover star? The Patagonian Cavy. What do you get when you cross a rabbit with a deer and a kangaroo? You get our next oddball pet, the Patagonian Cavy. This large rodent from Argentina, also called Amara, is turning heads with its unique look and surprisingly gentle personality. Unlike a lot of exotic pets, cavies can actually be quite affectionate if they're raised around people from a young age. They're active during the day, and they can even be trained to walk on a leash or use a litter box. They're also relatively quiet and aren't known to be aggressive. So, what's the catch? Well, for starters, these animals are born to dig. If you plan to keep them outside, their enclosure has to be completely burrow-proof, which often means sinking concrete or wire deep into the ground. A pair of these energetic rodents needs an outdoor space of at least 10 by 10 feet, made with chew-proof materials. And while some can be house-trained, Males often mark their territory with urine and other secretions, which is not a great look for your living room rug. They're fascinating and can be loving, but they require serious work to keep them happy and safely contained. The living weapon, the alligator. Now we're moving into truly dangerous territory. Believe it or not, in some places it is legal to own an American alligator. From viral videos of gators on leashes to stories of them living inside people's homes, the idea of a pet alligator is both terrifying and fascinating. But let's be crystal clear. Alligators are apex predators. Their wild instincts never, ever go away. They are not pets. States that do allow ownership have incredibly strict rules. In Florida, for example, you need a special permit that requires at least 1,000 hours of hands-on experience with gators and a property of at least 2.5 acres. The housing alone is a nightmare. An alligator needs a large enclosure with both land and a pool of water deep enough for it to be completely submerged. That enclosure must be incredibly secure, because an escaped gator is a massive threat to the entire community. They have one of the most powerful bites in the animal kingdom, and they can see any other predator, even a person, as food. The story of Rambo the alligator, who lived indoors and wore clothes, is an extreme outlier, not the rule. For pretty much everyone, owning an alligator is an incredibly dangerous and irresponsible idea. The apex predator in the house, the tiger. If an alligator wasn't shocking enough for you, how about a tiger? It's a horrifying fact that there are more tigers living in private hands in the U.S. than there are left in the entire wild. Shows like Tiger King made it seem like a wild sideshow, but the day-to-day reality is a logistical and financial nightmare. First, let's talk cost. A tiger cub might sell for a few $1,000s, but that's just the down payment. A proper, secure enclosure can cost over $20,000, and that's before you buy the land to put it on. Then there's the food. A full-grown tiger eats hundreds of pounds of meat a month, costing over $10,000 a year. Vet care is another huge expense. Since very few vets are qualified to treat a 600-pound carnivore, and a house call requires a tranquilizer gun. And then there's the unavoidable danger. You cannot house train a tiger. They instinctively spray urine to mark their territory, and that includes the inside of your home and you. They are, and will always be, wild animals. Even a playful swipe can be lethal. There are countless tragic stories of attacks, escapes, and deaths that all prove one thing. A tiger is not, and can never be, a pet. From capybaras that need their own swimming pools to salamanders that can literally regrow their own heads. It's clear that for some people, a golden retriever just doesn't cut it. But owning these animals comes with immense responsibility, serious ethical questions, and often extreme danger. It forces us to ask, where do we draw the line? At what point does our fascination with the wild cross over into irresponsible territory? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.